of these old days, one of these old days, and we won't.
Welcome back to the Transitions from War podcast, episode 42. I'm your host, Mike. And as always, we're talking about reconnecting to mind, body, and spirit. Today's a fun show. We got Rich Dreyling here, back from Estonia for a brief jaunt to talk about his latest, what it's like to live up in Estonia when there's only 5 hours of sunlight a day in the winter, and everything else going on in his life. We also dive into my own progress with the ketogenic diet and what it's been like so far. It's been a few weeks. So it's a fun episode. You guys are going to enjoy it. Make sure you check out our sponsors. Number one, as always, Cowboy Crickets. Sustainable Montana-raised crickets. Veteran-owned business. And Ironman approved. Enter the promo code VETS to save 15% on all orders. And you don't have to be a vet to use this promo code. People have been asking me that. No, but you're going to be supporting vets if you do. Not only the vets, Kathy and James Rowland, who live in Montana, but me, this show. We're also brought to you by Fireteam Whiskey. Fireteam Whiskey program is based on the latest science and the fastest, most effective, and permanent way to lose weight and improve health and fitness. The program was created with a military concept of Fireteam in mind. Just like a military fire team, when you join a team of people who are experts in their field, and you will work together to accomplish your mission. No longer will you have to work out alone, waste your money on gym memberships and expensive trainers. No more confusion about how to reach your desired level of health and fitness. The new Fireteam Whiskey program allows you to work out anytime, anywhere. It comes complete with a battle buddy. That's either a personal trainer who is a current or former military member or first responder to help you achieve your fitness goals. Plus, it's affordable, convenient, and it's customized to your fitness needs. Whether you're just starting or want to amp up your efforts. The program includes hundreds of workout videos you can do from anywhere, anytime in 30 minutes or less. Already made for you, 30-day workout plans for any fitness level. Every style is training available: body weight, strength, CrossFit, bodybuilding, cardio, high intensity, intervals, yoga, kettlebells, etc. New videos are added every week, so the content's fresh, never gets old. You guys, we can save 40% off any of these trading plans. She's got a few of them. Using the promo code TRANSITIONS. You guys take a look at Fireteam Whiskey. We've got some links in the show notes here. Just go to fireteamwhiskey.com. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy the show. And leave us a review on iTunes. Can you do that? Click, click, click. It's like 3 clicks to get over there and do it. You're going to help people be able to discover the show who need to hear it. Just go over it, leave us a review, put some stars down. Subscribe if you haven't done that already. That's probably one of the best ways right now you can support this show. Tell a friend. Text this episode over to them if you think they should hear it. All right. That's all. Enjoy the show.
We're back. And
We're back. Both of us are back. And we are back.
Yeah,
Dude,
we're back. What's up, man? How you doing?
welcome back to USA.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to have people speaking English as their native tongue around me. That's cool. Yeah. How's it going, man?
So good. We haven't recorded an episode together since, I think, July.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Because then it was all kind of really rushed for me to head to Estonia. It was kind of a crazy transition, It's like one day I was busting my butt at work, and then the next I was packing up everything and hopping in a truck to drive to Minnesota and then fly to Estonia. It's crazy.
Yeah. So you've been out there since you left in August, right?
Yep. I got out there August, I think, 28th. Left here the 27th. And it's been good. So the reason I'm in Estonia I'm back on break, but I'm doing a master's program in what's called e-governance, which is essentially partially out of necessity. The Estonian government, they don't have enough people there to have 1 million employees. They only have 1.5 million in the country. So when they were like probably maybe 10 years after they left the Soviet Union, they started designing this kind of distributed computing system to run everything in their government as much automated as possible. And what I'm trying to do is take what they're doing over there, bring it over here, and hopefully improve our government and potentially bring internet voting to the United States. So that's why I'm over there.
That's pretty cool, man. Estonia. I mean, I'm assuming it's exactly like the U.S., exactly like California.
Yeah, it's like California, except for not. So Estonia itself is it's a very interesting place, and some of it's because of the history there, but they're very intensely focused on their language. I'll say that because it almost kind of got eradicated during the Soviet occupation, so the transition to being able to get around the country there was not easy because everything's in Estonian. You go into the supermarket and you're looking at cuts of meat, and I can't identify cuts of meat just by looking at it. I can kind of tell if it's beef or not, but when you're looking at, like, they eat what they call hakliha, which is minced meat on almost everything. And that was a real pain to be able to go into the supermarket and try and figure out what the heck I was eating. It wasn't easy. And so it was a bit of a transition over there that way. Just people are a little different there. They don't talk as much on the street. And I don't know. I mean, during the summer, it's pretty nice, but as soon as the winter starts to get on, it gets it's like San Francisco, but almost 24/7, like just always overcast. And then toward the winter, there's not a whole lot of sunlight,
You're doing like 5 hours a day or something?
Yeah, it's like 5 hours a day right now. Just kind of brutal. Yeah. Like I remember the day I noticed it worst was like I woke up and I looked outside. It was like 9 a.m. and I still had a couple hours before classes and everything, but I looked outside and it looked like it was about midnight. It was like one of those things where you look and you're like, oh, it must be 9:30 at night, like one of those kind of things. And so I ended up getting one of those sad lights so that I'd be able to, just
those things work.
Function. Yeah, mostly. It's probably placebo effect, but what I would notice is, if you don't see any bright light through the whole day, you just kind of feel like you're never really woken up. When you wake up and you see the sun, it gives your body like, hey, fucker, wake up. So what I started doing,
the cortisol wakes you up.
Yeah. So I started using that bright light first thing in the morning, before classes, and that would wake me up pretty effectively before I would go do stuff. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
But
what do you do outside of classes out there?
I party a lot. No, not too much, but for me, there wasn't a whole lot of time outside of classes because I decided to take 1.5 times the semester load, which I didn't realize was going to be as bad as it was. Other than that,
you've always been known for taking big loads.
There we go. I'm always known for taking big loads. There's a lot of museums and stuff out there, so check out that stuff. Check out the history. The old town was built in like the 1400s. So that's kind of cool to go like tour these medieval castles and stuff. Just, tour around and hang out with classmates, read or study, learn code. Yay.
That's a lot, man.
It's not fun. But yeah, I mean, it's been good. And the European Regional Development Fund gave me like a scholarship. So that's cool. It allows me to, live a little bit more comfortably there. It's been a good time. I'm learning a lot. Not the least of which is just learning from my classmates. There's people from all over the world in my class, and it's really made me appreciate what I have in the United States, for sure.
Oh, that's for sure. Cool. What do you like the most about being back for break?
Seeing family. I think the most difficult part about being in Estonia is probably, it feels like, you're very isolated. I ended up getting a roommate just because I wanted to have somebody who was around, you know? And so being back, it's good to just be around family and around people who know the same references. That helps.
Yeah.
I did a couple stand-up sets, and one of them I went a little too heavily into, stuff that was America-centric or whatever, and the Estonians just didn't get it. They just didn't get the references. So,
what are you talking about? Like turning double plays and baseball references, or what?
oh no, it wasn't even anything like that. Like, I made one reference to that movie, The Fighter, which is an Oscar award-winning movie. It won an Oscar. Like, they should know it in Europe. They didn't. They don't know who Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch is.
Yeah, that's when you got problems as a country.
Yeah, you guys don't know who Marky Mark is? You must be failures of life.
Yeah.
Nah, it's it's been interesting. And
was everyone doing sets in English, or does it go in between?
There's only one open mic that's all in English. So at the first one I did, there was one other guy who spoke in English. I did really well that set. That was fun. But then the second set, I don't know if I don't know what the hell my problem was. I think it was on me, but I didn't go. Well, I mean, it's always on me, right? But for some reason, I got up there and was just not feeling it or whatever, and the set did not go well. In fact, it went so bad. I looked so sad on my walk home that not one, not two, but 3 different dudes approached me and gave me cards to, like, I'm assuming they were sex clubs. Like, they were supposed to be strip clubs, but I'm pretty sure if massage is on the list after striptease.
Yeah, this guy could use a massage.
Yeah, it was bad, man. And one of the guys was like, man, we got any kind of girl you want. We got any kind of girl. We have Belarusian girls. We have Ukrainian girls. And I was just thinking to myself, like, all I need to do is throw a party at my house, because the Ukrainian girls from my class and the Belarusian girl, like, they're always over at my house just to hang out. They're cool. So it was just like, no thanks, man. I'm good. I'm just going
picturing
home.
You walking back with like the Charlie Brown look, just head down.
Head down. Yeah, I must have been. Because it was 3 of them, like, right in a row. I was just like, Jesus, do I look that sad? Leave me alone, fuckers.
So mind, body, spirit, man. How would you grade yourself? What are you doing?
I think I've been doing decently with meditation. Body, not so great. Spirit, I don't know. So meditation kind of follows like mind and spirit, right?
Yeah.
But, similar to Cal, where I guess I didn't go as deep down a hole, right? But I definitely haven't been putting fitness in, like, the driver's seat. Some of that was out of necessity, and some of it was just, me slacking. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, I could have a lot earlier in the cycle figured out a way to make eating work out there, not just living on, like, salami sandwiches. I'm not kidding. That's for a long time. Like, at home, I just didn't want to cook, or I don't have an oven in my apartment. I have one of those induction, is that what it is? Induction convection stovetop things.
Inflections.
Inflections? No, do you know what I'm talking about? It's like, it looks like an electronic stove.
Like a sideways toaster?
No, I have one of those. That's my oven, because I don't have an oven in my apartment. And so for a while, it was just trying to figure out a way to be able to, like, cook. And that, I could have figured that out earlier. And I also, I made some just dumb kind of JV rookie mistakes that I should have kind of figured out beforehand that weren't going to work, But now I got a gym membership, and I'm bringing one of the bike trainers back with me, so I'll be all right, Oh,
that's cool, man. Dude, I love having the bike trainer to watch TV and do a couple things at once.
Yeah, I want to use it for, like, no excuse fasted cardio in the morning. That's kind of why I want it, because when you have to, I believe in, and I think we've talked about this on other episodes, but removing as many barriers as possible from you getting your crap done. You know, that's why meal prep works. That way you're not like feeling all hungry and then like, oh crap, and then you go eat McDonald's, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In Estonia, it's buy a frozen pizza for €2 and then cook that thing, you know, which isn't good for you. But so what I want to do is just get the bike trainer set up in my bedroom so I can just like wake up in the morning, roll out of bed, throw on the bike shorts and work out.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, man. I'm thinking of like the trips I've taken, obviously not, 2-year trips to Estonia, but my pattern is usually I'll start off, I'll have like the healthy stuff and, bring food with me and eat healthy. And then there's like, if I had it on a graph, it would slowly start like tanking as a stock. And like the flight back home is all like red vines and gummy bears and like just like bullshit.
Yeah. So for me, what ended up like, it was kind of bad, but when I got there, I was staying in like the middle of nowhere in like, I want to call it like a wooden ghetto is what they called it. And it was like Estonian homes that were built before the Soviets came to occupy. So my first shower at my Airbnb was a wand with 5 little holes. And you had to like, put your arm over your head to like wash your hair and shit. And then I lived at a hostel for like a couple of weeks while I was trying to find an apartment. And so with all of this, it took me a little while to even get to a steady place to live, let alone,
Yeah, no kidding.
Be able to get on like a good program. And then I made a gross miscalculation by not just paying for the gym instead of, they had this weird thing where it's like, oh, you can take a PE class and then you get access to the gym. Well, you only get access during the time that there are classes. You can't go and just do cardio whenever you want. And I was like, oh, crap. And I didn't know that until like,
one would assume that's how it's worked in other places.
Well, I mean, for me, like,
it's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. You didn't get just overall access to the gym in addition to your classes. So I did some yoga. I lifted. I did a little bit of cardio, but mostly I just did yoga. And that was good, but I wasn't as consistent with it as I should have been,
I think that's I've never heard anyone in their life say, man, I'm doing way too much yoga these days. Just like that in meditation, like, dude, I've been meditating way too much.
Meditating too much. It was not enough other stuff. Got to cut off this yoga. No, I got really, really flexible. And then, just like I missed real workouts. And then after yoga, like you go to try to lift, my body ain't holding up for that shit. It's just not. Like after yoga, the last thing my body wants to do is deadlift. So I tried to do it a couple times. And after like the second time I like seriously pulled or like it cramped up, not really pulled, but you cramp up and it can give you a couple days worth of soreness after like the second time I did that.
I think I remember you doing this like on day 1 or 2 of your like triathlon training
this year. Yeah.
Last year.
Oh, I'm a genius, man. I'm really good at going too hard. I'm professional at this shit, man. That's what the Marine Corps taught us. That's what they taught us.
Oh, dude, speaking of feeling it, today I did my first master's swim class in a very long time. Because since I moved up here, Sonoma County, I haven't done a master's class. We're talking, probably getting close to a year. And I could really tell, man, it was fun. Glad to be back in there. But I felt it. I was like, oh, I remember this feeling of being out of breath swimming.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. Because if I'm swimming on my own, unless I have a specific set my coach gives me, I'm not pushing it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'll make it up. Go slower next time. I'm concentrating on form and going way too slow. But this is cool, man. But I felt it afterwards. That nice familiar feeling of just have like that good tired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pool does that to you. So in the master's class, do you have like a bunch of other adults who are doing it with you?
Yeah. There's a coach, and then depending on where you are, you're usually splitting a lane with someone, or sharing a lane, and everybody kind of goes at 10, 15, 20-second intervals, usually 10 seconds. And you'll do, warm up set, and then you'll do, a kick set, maybe a pull set, and then go in between the different strokes. Me, I can do freestyle and breaststroke. My attempts at doing backstroke have ended up in head-on collisions.
Is it this backstroke?
I don't know how to do butterfly. Yeah.
Oh, I hate that backstroke. The backstroke that's like doing an overhand crawl, but you want to tear your shoulders out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then butterfly is just horrendous. I've never been able to get that down. Never been able to do it well.
It looks cool. I tried it one time in a master's class, and I think everyone just was doing that thing where they're like, try not to laugh, I was like, I don't know. I looked at what people were doing and tried to get, it's not one of those things you can kind of just like look at somebody and figure it out. At least not me. So I stick to freestyle and breaststroke. So yeah, you do your main set with varying different strokes, and then usually a cool down. So there's some good intervals, but it's the nice thing about swim sets like that is like, if you're swimming, 2,600 meters or a 3K, it breaks it up. So you're not just like, oh, okay, I got a whole 3K of swim. It breaks it up to different sets of 50s, 100s, maybe a couple 200s, and it keeps your mind engaged. So
instead
that's
of just going back and forth until you want to die.
Yeah, some hard, some easy, varying it up, and you got to do the math in your head too. So I love it, man. Because especially with triathlon, you're doing all the training, unless you belong to maybe a like a bike group that does weekend rides. It's all solo stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not exactly the most collaborative sport, unless maybe tri teams. Do they do that stuff or what?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, tri teams, I don't know. I've never been part of one just because usually the schedule is people do it after work.
Mm-hmm.
And
maybe
someday, I have kids that are engaged in other things, but
right.
After work and most of the weekends is family time. So it's interesting. I've been doing 100% of my bike training on the trainer, and I got a, just like that kinetic trainer you have, there's a small little add-in you can do to it. And it's a little magnet you put in the wheel there and a sensor. So it can sense speed and wattage output. So it's another cool metric to have, but I'll do that and watch a show while I'm doing it. So
nice.
That's fun.
And do the kids come by, like bug you while you're doing it, other than stealing your water bottle and running away?
I still remember that, man. Usually it's up in the, like my son's been getting up earlier. So if he does, then I'll take a break and between my wife and I will make him some breakfast and turn on a show. So I got to make sure to like turn off like violent shows like Frontier or, whatever I'm watching where people are getting hacked to death with an axe. Like, hey, girl. Yeah. Come watch this with daddy.
Yeah. Let's see some blood.
Yeah. This is how the Hudson Bay Company treated people back in the 1800s.
Wow. I have not watched that show.
But no, I do most of my stuff like 5:30. I've been getting up for a while. I was getting up at 4 or 4:30. It just started, and then I go to sleep like right when my kids went to sleep. I've been pushing it more towards 5 now, just because with this going almost fully keto, very low carb. Mm-hmm. I've been feeling pretty good there, but energy dips at first, so my body's figuring it out.
Okay. Yeah. I know it takes I read Mark Sisson's book on that, and it wasn't on keto specifically. It was Primal Transition, but it's like usually 21 days, I think, for people to be like 80% fat adapted. And then it gradually picks up after.
Exactly. And fat adapted to where you can maybe start to notice, less hunger cravings. And I'm not sure. I'm new to this whole ketosis thing, and I know it's a big fad now too, but I'm feeling really good. I had like almost no carbs yesterday, and what I've noticed is my mood has been great the last few days. It sucked hard Friday through Saturday, that last weekend. Mm-hmm. Partly because, I had some intense dreams, did not really sleep well, and plus I had like little dogs like clawing my back trying to get warm. But Yeah. Once that cleared up, I mean, I haven't felt this good in a while. So far, so good, man. It's working out.
Wow. Have you felt any like ups and downs, like blood sugar wise? Have you noticed like any problems with that? I mean, you're fit, but I mean, some people still like low blood sugar can kind of suck.
I haven't really. I felt it for lunch today. I didn't really eat a big meal this morning. I mean, and this morning too, was great proof of it because I did the swim set completely fasted. I mean, I had a shot of espresso and, just a water bottle with, electrolyte tab in there. But I mean, nothing that noticeable. I mean, the caffeine woke my mind up a little bit. And afterwards, I wasn't starving hungry. I wasn't really hungry at all. So I just waited until I got to work, had a little yogurt and some chia seeds and cacao or pecans in there. And then for lunch, though, I started feeling it. So that's why I was housing some steak at the beginning of this.
Oh, it's all good, man.
And I think
That's
what
cool.
most people are wrong, or most people are failing, where I failed before, is not eating enough protein. And I noticed that like I've been tapping into like just how I feel more with it, and it works. It's definitely worked. I think I'm down about 5 pounds already since I started on the 26th of December. Had one day, New Year's Eve, where we went out to a restaurant, and it was like a restaurant Thai food buffet. And I was like, I'm not doing this tonight. It's New Year's Eve. For this, so
Yeah. And how are you going to do a buffet with like a Thai buffet without noodles? Like you can't do that.
yeah, exactly.
Because you could go eat paleo there or keto, I guess, but it would suck.
There's ways of doing it, but there's definitely, like most of the ways of doing it, you're kind of an asshole,
Yeah.
You're like, excuse me, is there gluten in this? It's
That's-
just like,
yeah.
and then there's ways to do it, be really cool about it, but if that deprivation restriction mindset, I think is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's no reason unless and like, if you have a special occasion planned out that you're doing it, and unless you're like really diabetic or you have some kind of medical reason to do it, if you're going to go out for New Year's or have Christmas dinner, just fucking have Christmas dinner, New Year's,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to enjoy your life, right?
Right before a huge race or something. Yeah, exactly. So this is
Right.
what I like about it is just my approach to it now isn't black or white, all or nothing.
That's good.
But
You develop.
I don't feel as hungry. Sometimes I'll look at like, I've been tracking my food too, and I'm not going to do that for the rest of my life, but it's really helping me notice what some of my big downfalls were. One were, I think, probably eating like 8 or 9 apples a day. I kind of cut into it.
What was wrong with 8 or 9 apples a day? I mean, other than the sugar. I bet you
Yeah,
pooped good.
well,
I bet you pooped good. I bet you
dude,
pooped
some
good.
amazing shits. But it was a big rush and then dip of energy, and I was always hungry.
Mm.
So I do a lot of like nervous eating too. So I just like grab a handful of mixed nuts too, or whatever else it was, and so I'm noticing like where like the big calorie items are, and so now I have a better awareness of like, okay, am I actually hungry? And lately, I haven't been that hungry. So sometimes at the end of the day, be like, oh, I need to add a little more fat in, and I'll do it. But sometimes I'll be like yesterday. I think I only ate about 14 or 1,500 calories, and I was not hungry. So that's when I saw that. I was like, oh, holy shit,
That makes
I'm
me
doing
think.
this.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm just listening to my body, doing the ratios right, and not taking it too seriously. But it's an experiment to see, with Ironman, if I can have steady blood sugar, steady energy, not need to be consuming a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and then just feel better in general. A lot of it's for mental health, man, because like I've shared on the podcast before, depression's been a lifelong thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when times get stressful, my go-to thing now is food, if there's anything, because it's not drugs or booze. So if I can feel better in general, it's going to make everything better. So so far the experiment is going in well and in my favor and in my family's favor. So I like it.
That's good, man. That's really good to hear. I need to get back on, like I said, just something. I mean, the depression definitely hit me, I think, mid-semester over there. It was like, uh, well, my deployment was probably different than yours. I was going to say it's like the middle of the deployment, like where it feels like, crap, we've been here forever. And fuck, we still got like 3 or 4 months left,
Yeah.
And
The finish line's a long way away.
Yeah. You're like halfway through and you're like, oh my God, that's where I was. And yeah, I was pretty depressed for a little while there. But then, I gradually, I don't know, somehow it all started to click and started to, just work. And, I'm thankful, but I could definitely use some more, getting back to just working out and eating right. I think I'd feel better, because
You know what's interesting about that is that when you're doing it, you have the feeling of, oh yeah, this feels good. There's this intuition, that body knowledge of it. But then when you're out of it, like for me, I completely forget what that feels like. And the idea of eating right and working out, just, it seems miserable.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I really, really want this pizza right now. Yeah. Or like, it's hard just to even take like the steps toward, that's why it's about those like small steps.
Exactly.
And unfortunately for me, I kind of fell off a little bit, like when I was home, prior to going to Estonia. Like, I think if it was, you take me in like April when I was training, like really steady, or, before I had to go to Minnesota and kind of let myself fall off there. I think if you took me and I had been consistent up until August and then went to Estonia, it wouldn't have been that difficult of a thing to keep going over there. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're just keeping that habit steady.
Yeah. I'd say to give you some more credit though, and benefit of the doubt, is when we talk about stressors, changing the way you eat is a stressor on your body, on your mind. Produce more cortisol. It's like that. I guess that what I'm learning now is the idea is you don't want to do all of the things at once. So you had, some family issues going on that you were helping out with. You had to move. You had leaving a job, going to a new country, getting past like all that stuff. And what I've been hearing on all these podcasts is, if you do too much of this all at once, your body can't handle it. I mean, it's like the same as overtraining. You work out too much. So it's that balance is tough. That balance is tough because you're just setting yourself up for a boom or bust kind of thing, and then or short-lived. Like how I used to work out. Like a couple of years after I got out, be like, all right, I'm out of shape. I look like shit in the mirror. I feel bad because I drank too much, and then I go on a death run,
and then do like CrossFit.
my body hurts forever, and then I'm like, fuck this, I can't do it. I get hurt, and 3 months later, have that same conversation in the mirror, except I'm like, 10 pounds fatter.
Yeah, dude, I had that same cycle for a very long time. And I think it was actually triathlon that to cut that, because jiu-jitsu was still one of those boomer bust things, I don't know who it was on Rogan's podcast and was talking about Pavel's like body weight training protocol. And then
the kettlebell guy, right?
Yeah, he was talking about not getting sore. And then he talked about how he works out where he can still roll like every day. And he was like, look, if I go to the gym and I roll, I do one jiu-jitsu class, roll for an hour, 5 or 6 days a week. And you go Tuesday and Thursday for 2 hours and you burn yourself out. At the end of the year, I'm going to have more training than you, so that's his whole thing was consistency over like volume at, and intensity. So, I like that idea. I think when I get back to it, Maffetone method all the way, homie.
Tim Ferriss talked about that too. When you're looking at data in terms of like I think he was like measuring sleep or weight or all these heart rate variability. He said that a lot of small snapshots of it, and consistency is way better than a huge data dump all at once too. Like getting all the idea of consistency, slow things every day or close to it is much better and much more sustainable, because isn't that what this is about? It's not, unless you're training for something very specifically, or you're in boot camp or you're training for war. And I think that's the mindset that a lot of us fall into that are vets. It's we train and especially if you have PTSD or any kind of anxiety issues, that without even having a conscious thought, your body starts to say, oh, this is dangerous and I need to train like it. And that kicks in, you're just running on adrenaline, burning yourself out. And without even trying to, because I was doing that and I didn't realize it until I had one training session. I was training up for a GoRuck heavy. And I remember like being worried about it because it's a 24-hour thing, carrying logs. And I was like, dude, this is insane. It's 24 hours straight. And I told my friend, Steve, I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm ready for this. I might back out. And he's like, nah, dude, just push those doubts aside. And we did this. We walked up Mount Diablo up and down with some weight, and not at a fast pace, but we did it. And then after that, like I was in a meditation and I had just this epiphany of, oh, this stress I'm feeling getting ready for something that I felt for like every test in school and every big like CrossFit workout or whatever else. It was that same like ramping up stress, like about to go on a mission. And I was like, once I realized that too, and I was like, oh, this is my body's getting prepared to fight for its life. Then I could say, oh, that's leftover war stuff. And so that stress and anxiety didn't ramp up higher. I'm like, okay, this is leftover war stuff. It makes sense that it's there. It's okay to be there, but I won't have to like feed it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I never even made that connection. I mean, I did catch myself thinking a couple of times, like, shit, man, you'd be screwed if you were in war right now. Like you'd just be fucked. Like I remember when they were talking about introducing that combat fitness test. I remember one of the commandants was like complaining. He was like, yeah, Marines aren't in good enough shape these days to like grab a machine gun and run. Because they don't run with weight. Like they're just training for a 3-mile PFT. And I was like, so I immediately, my brain went back to that. This is like, years after I'd gotten out and I'm like barely running. And I was like, I couldn't run with a machine gun right now. I can barely run right now. It's bad. But yeah, man, I'm going to have to, when I start feeling that anxiety again, like really, kind of just acknowledge that and try to just move it aside.
There's something there with it. It's like if you can see it and accept, okay, this is here. I don't need to like fully attach to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like noting,
like a subtle mind thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can just let it be there, and then focus on finding the steady breath. That seems like it's the biggest key. I think that's why yoga is so cool and so underrated. So underrated, because if you can find your breath and really identify where you are in this workout. And I was talking to, let's just call her a physical therapist, because that's essentially what she does, except way more advanced. My friend Sonia. Mm-hmm. And she was saying that like a lot of us are trained to block everything out, all feedback from our bodies, because we will ourselves through things. And that's we can like wind up injured or keep going because we can do that. But if you look at elite athletes, they're so in touch with their body that they can make these micro adjustments. Whereas we might say like, oh, my calf hurts. I should just keep going and push through the pain until maybe it's injured. Mm-hmm. They can maybe say, okay, I'm going to, taper down for this workout because it's not the race, and I'm going to attend to that. Whereas we might think of it like, oh, that's a pussy move to do. But in fact, they're way more in touch with their body, so they can push it even further.
That's a good point. I guess I hadn't really thought about it that way, because, I mean, there is something. Did you have any, like, fairly elite athletes in any of your, like, platoons ever?
We had some guys who were, like genetic freaks who could just, like, do 20 pull-ups without, like, taking a breath, basically.
Oh, yeah. I just, some of them what?
Some of it was genetic. There's just, like, but some of them, you can definitely tell, who are the people who are always trying, but they just like it's not natural. And some people, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, we had a couple guys who like were cross country runners or something like that who were really good. Those are the guys who run a mile before the PFT starts. I hate those guys.
Yeah,
fuckers.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, now I would probably do it just because my body would need to warm up. Like I acknowledge that. But back then I was just like, what are you showing off and fucking dicks? Like, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to get that last cigarette in.
Yeah. But some of those guys like just knew their self, you know, in a way that I think none of the other Marines did. And of course they're not elite, I'm guessing, because they didn't, you know, go to college and play or whatever. But they, you know, if you're running 16-minute 3 mile, you ain't doing too bad. You ain't doing too
Not
bad.
at all, man.
Yeah. We used to have a guy who would run. He was from Minnesota actually, but he like sounded like a stoner even when he was in the Marine Corps. You know, those guys who like smoke so much weed in high school or something that they just like, all right, man, fucking
Smoke themselves
whatever,
retarded.
bro. Yeah. So he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know, first sergeant. And he would like,
there's the guys that command hates so much.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And he was a radio recon Marine too. So, but he would come across, he had like a lighter and a cigarette in that little like a key pouch in his silkies.
Oh, wow.
And so he would run 16 and then come across the finish line, and he'd be pulling it out as he crossed the finish line and then throw the cigarette in his mouth. And like the first sergeants always wanted to yell at him, but they really couldn't say crap because he'd come in around 16 minutes. It was hilarious.
That's awesome. That's just kind of that fuck you fitness level.
Oh yeah.
Where they're just like, say something. Oh wait, did I come in first in the whole company? Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. What were you going to say? Exactly.
Yeah, man. Here come the non-smokers 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Oh man. So, you know, mind, body, fitness. I do feel though, like my spirit, I don't know if this makes any sense, but you know, part of the reason I decided to do this whole thing in Estonia is I felt like, you know, we were doing the podcast. That was awesome. But the rest of it, like I loved my job, don't get me wrong, but I didn't feel like it was a trajectory that was maybe 100%.
Yeah, it didn't really give you that sense of purpose, like really aligned with. Yeah, exactly.
And now I feel like I'm on a path towards something, and because of that, I don't feel as much. I don't know, cognitive dissonance or spiritual dissonance. I don't know what you would call it.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Even though it's like, I mean, difficult to say the least to move. I mean, you're a ballsy motherfucker, man, to move to a place where you, I mean, you speak Russian and what, it's like a quarter of the people there are Russian speaking, but I mean, you're moving to a brand new place, totally resettling in the middle of a career you could have kept going on, and just chancing on like, this isn't what I want to do. So you really connected to your values and did it anyways, despite like the I guess logistical hurdles.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people at work thought I was a unicorn when I did that, and by unicorn, I don't mean a horn on the forehead. I mean a dick on the forehead.
Dick on the forehead.
And yeah, they were like, "You're moving where?" You know. But it's been, I don't know, culturally not enlightening or anything. I just feel like I understand more. You know, just a lot more stuff makes sense to me in the world after doing this move, and I really feel like it's the right path. I just need to, you know, keep myself on my personal right path, because a lot of the other people who are out there with me, they're not dealing with war trauma. They're not dealing with just the baggage. You know what I mean? So I just need to make sure that I'm unpacking my baggage and then lifting it and running with it, you know, whatever. But yeah.
Dude, that's that. Speaking of trauma, besides war trauma, we can talk about ball trauma. On Christmas, my little boy has he picked up this big wooden puzzle set, and it was like this big wooden box. He's like, "Dada, puzzle," and he drops it, and the corner just hits me like square in the balls. Oh, and it was that perfect one where, you know, it hits and it's that delay for a second. You're like 1/1000. All of a sudden, you feel a shooting pain up in your gut, all the way up to your lungs. You're like, oh, you get those little tingly things in your temple.
Did you get the lower back pain? I always get like, yeah. Oh, I hate that. Ouch! Right on the nuts, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. So I've been changing my mindset to when that happens, be like, all right, it's pain is a weakness leaving the body. So he's definitely helped me out with that. But,
he's helping you. He's toughening you up. That's awesome.
It's hilarious.
Man.
Yeah, his newest thing, he'll run up to me, and I knew I was pale, but he'll run up to me, Dada, you're a ghost, and then like run away. I'm like, all right there, East Oakland, what's up?
That's funny. Dada, you're a ghost. That's awesome. Oh, that just reminds me. Like, so I went to a Christmas play Sunday. My friend's daughter was in the play, so she, and she was directing. So I was like, all right, I'll go. But you know how kids are. So the play was called Two Angels, but they should have called it 2.5 Angels, because right before the play, like one of the kids, like angel number 2's little sister, decided that she wanted to take part. And so they put like angel wings on her, and she just like held their hand and walked around. She didn't say anything the whole time. She just walked around. It just like this. It was the craziest play I've ever seen. Because basically, they'd had like 2 rehearsals, so the kids were reading off scripts and stuff. It was really cute, but there were certain parts that were just hilarious, and it was stuff that was hilarious because it was like these little kids doing little kid stuff, like in front of everyone.
Some of that stuff, it's so unscripted, and kids don't have, that filter of like what's appropriate to say or do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. One day I'll have kids, I think.
What's been like the shittiest food, or like the most unhealthy food you've eaten since you've been back in Minnesota?
Oh God, that's a tough one. I
know you got a lot to chew from in that state.
Yeah, I probably Velveeta mac and cheese with hot dogs, but dude, I love that. It tastes so good. I don't know why. It's like right back to like being a 4-year-old, just hot dogs.
Dude, there's that brain connection with there. It's that dopamine. It's that dopamine hit, man, and especially the smell and the taste brings you back to being a kid.
Oh yeah,
dude. I was when I was in Minnesota. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I was there for the state fair in the summer, and we got the buckets full of cookies.
Did you try the mini donuts or no? What was that? I didn't hear you.
Freshly made buckets
of cookies,
chocolate chip cookies. Just
that's awesome.
I knew what I was getting into. I was like, I'm okay with feeling bad later for this.
That reminds me of like the fried Twinkies and fried Twix and stuff. Still don't know how they do that, but whatever. Sounds interesting enough. I haven't.
That's the thing. Like I haven't had those. Just like when I was in training in Reno, Nevada, a month and a half ago, and I've played slots a couple times, and I've played a hand or two of blackjack once for a bachelor party, but I don't do that anymore. It doesn't appeal to me, and I'm worried that if I play one time, I'll really like it. And since I'm prone to addictions and going like off the rails, like full retard into something, I was like, I don't need another thing that like I really want to do that I shouldn't. Yeah,
and especially gambling, because gambling, like, that's a way to not lose your life, but definitely reduce the quality of it. We'll put it that way.
That's a way to darkness, man.
It
was sad, kind of funny, but kind of sad seeing. I show up there on Monday because it's a week-long thing, and you see the people who are there like, 11 in the morning, just fully boozed and like, chain smoking, like playing the slots on a Monday morning with the scratchers on the side. I'm like, ooh, thank God that is not me.
Yeah. But for the grace of God, there go I. Yeah, man. Oh, I pretty much hate Nevada. Like most of the state is high desert, and then you have Vegas and Reno. And I don't know, man. Vegas has never been good to me. Maybe if I've
gone there once under protest, and I'm like, that's enough for me. I between like falling down an escalator that I didn't remember, and like going up to the same club the next day, and like walking in, the door guy's like, do you not remember yesterday what happened? And I'm like,
what?
That question has never been followed up with like, welcome back, so
you were awesome. We all love you.
He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, look at your arm and your shirt. And like, I looked and like my shirt's cut and there's still like a little blood. And I was like, oh, that's where that came from. He's like, yeah, dude. And so I could falling down the escalator, and So anyways, yeah, I'm not a fan of Vegas either. I think
Did he let you back in the boat?
No.
Look at your shirt.
I think
fuck out of here.
Yeah. It was hilarious. I think he was so shocked that I'd show up again. I was like, good thing I don't remember that because it sounded pretty embarrassing.
if I don't remember, it didn't happen. Let's try this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
But there's something about Reno that not the downtown. The downtown is I don't know. It's pretty sad in terms of just like really desperate people in the casinos, a lot of poverty and addiction. But the actual high desert, I don't know. There's something about it that I really love. Same, I loved. I went on a retreat in like the mountains outside of Tucson. I like that desert. Can't figure out exactly what it is, but
in the mountains, I get that. I'm just driving across the state sucks because you're at elevation and it's freezing cold. So every time you stop to go to the bathroom, you like think you're going to lose your hands. But other than that, it's good. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. That's not my. I'm a Minnesota boy at heart, right? So if I have a choice between like Tahoe Mountains or high desert mountains, I'm going to pick Tahoe Mountains. I like green. I like trees. Mostly. I'm not like the biggest fan of the desert mountains, but they are beautiful. I'll give you that. I can understand why. Actually, what I use to go to sleep most of the time now is a meditation that's takes place in the high desert, and you can hear like a fire crackling in the background, and then like crickets or whatever, cicadas chirping. It's pretty cool. I think that's what they're called, right? Cicadas?
Cicadas, yeah. I remember those all over North Carolina.
Yeah.
Dude, what are your goals for the 2019? What's your plan? Any race plans?
I have to run a race, at least one. I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot for...
Is it Talon or Talene? How do you say it?
It's Talon.
Talon. I know they have a full. Do they have a half?
I know that there's a half around. I don't know if it's in Talon. But there's like I remember looking, and in the time frame, of the summer, there's like a few different events around. I'd still like to do in 50K, and if I do it in Estonia, it's going to mostly be flat, which would be awesome. I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot for a half Ironman or just do an Olympic this year. I honestly don't know. It's going to probably depend on how my body feels, like a couple months into the training as I'm ramping up. Like I'm not going to do what I did 2 years ago. I just can't do that. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that was a lot. I was surprised. That was a lot to try out. I mean, you did a bunch of it. The thing, I respect anyone who can just kind of work out for the sake of it. I can't really do that anymore. I think is why I sign up for these big races, because like there's part of it that's like, okay, I can drag my feet for a little bit, but eventually I'm going to have to fucking get off my ass and start training. So it puts a little fear in the culo to start training.
Yeah, it definitely, I think having a training goal helps a lot. Like for me, it's the only way to do it. I got to have something I'm training toward, or else it's just like, I don't know, if I'm 300 pounds, I guess I'll still be able to get up the stairs.
One would hope so.
Yeah. But, if you're, I don't know, it makes all the difference in the world, I think, to have, something to train toward. And there's another girl from Belarus, not the lady I'm seeing, but the other lady in my class. And she's a runner. So I was like, have you ever, she's run marathons, but never an ultra. And I was like, would you like to do a 50K? And she's like, yes. And so we're going to train. But she's going to smoke me. Cool. She's like a foot taller than me. She's like yay tall and really skinny.
Nice, man. You get some good ego check. That's what everyone needs but hates.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
Dude, let's talk about Estonia for a second.
Okay.
And specifically the dream I had last night. So I was out there in Estonia and people were getting jacked and like kidnapped and taken away. And you were supposed to be my guide there. And so we were hanging out for a little while. Mm-hmm. But then you fucking disappeared, bro. And I was on my own. So
was there a blonde girl involved? You know what I feel like?
I didn't see. That must have been off camera.
Yeah, off-camera blonde girl.
But yeah, basically you left me hanging, man. So
Sorry about that, buddy. When you told me that dream, it reminds me of the time that I woke up to being punched by my ex-wife, and I was like, "What? What?" It wasn't like a sock to the face or anything. It was just like a hit. She hit my arm or whatever. I was like, "What did I do? I was asleep." She's like, "You cheated on me in my dream." What the fuck? Have you ever had that happen? Where it's like in a dream where Sarah like dreams something and then she gets up and takes it out on you? Has that ever happened?
Not like that, but
No?
yeah, and it's happened vaguely. She was pissed about something. One thing she did do was she'd have dreams about she'd have dreams about working in the hospital and would say things like, I was like, what? It's like, you have to wipe their ass fully. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? Are you asleep? No. Room 4B. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, and then but if I talked to her, she'd get pissed because I didn't know what was happening, but she was a dream and I wasn't. So that was an interesting interaction.
That's pretty funny. That's awesome.
Like, I'm not wiping anyone's ass in a dream or not, man.
Fully wipe their ass.
Fully wipe. You can't leave any clingers.
Nope. That's how bed sores start. No, I don't know if that's true. I doubt it. I'm just making shit up.
I'll go with it, man. Let's put it on Wikipedia.
This is like a little bat.
Yeah.
It's a twins bat from 1991.
Oh, bro, that's Kirby Puckett edition.
Yeah. Except it's kind of beat up, so, it's not like I'm going to be able to sell it. So I'll just use it for people's legs when they make me mad. Come here. What?
Yeah, exactly, dude. It's a good tool to have, just like in the side of your car, just in case you need it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, life's been pretty good, man. It sounds like you're doing pretty good. Doing well or whatever.
Feeling it, man. Feeling it. Yeah, I think my plans for this year are
what are your plans?
I got Ironman in Santa Rosa, round 3. I'm excited for that. I've got a new Gold Star family picked up.
Awesome.
I'm going to carry the flag for it. And then we're launching the National Gold Star Initiative. That's going to be fun. So I don't know if I'm going to do the Santa Rosa half again, but we'll figure it out.
So you're doing at least one Ironman.
Might have one more race. Yeah, at least one Ironman. I got thoughts about doing Marine Corps Marathon, just because if I'm going to do a marathon, that sounds like a cool one to do.
Yeah.
So
have you looked into doing like ultras and stuff?
Yes. In the same way that I have looked into going scuba diving on the coast here, but every time I have the time to do it, I want to just free dive and shoot fish. So it's like, it's like there's so many cool things to pick from. And right now I'm really digging triathlon, but ultras are on the menu, probably just not for antipasta or the main course. It's going to happen maybe a little bit after, or take a break if I start to get a little burnt out or need to step back from try.
Okay, that makes sense.
Something about the ultra thing, it definitely has a pull. I think it's kind of like, right now I have plenty of things that I overcommit to and really get obsessed about. So I'm sure when it comes to it, I'll fit right in. And the idea of doing something like that, doing like a 50 miler, sounds pretty awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, like, you could probably run a 50K without training because you're already trained for marathons. So you just got to figure out how to do elevation stuff and walk the ups, jog the downs type deal.
Yeah, it could probably happen. It wouldn't be too steep of a curve. I think my favorite races that I've done, running races, favorite ones I've done, both been trail half marathons. Trail running is the best. Absolute best. Yeah.
Something, I don't know, primal about it. It's like I should be chasing down a cow when that's 500 pounds because we didn't breed it yet. And overheating it until it dies. And then speaking
of chasing and killing things, I might be getting into some pig hunting up in Northern California pretty soon. So
bow or rifle, or what are you going to hunt with?
Rifle.
Okay, make sure you have a 45 on you.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, please do. because you're my friend, and I'd like to keep, coming on the podcast.
My friend Cowboy Phil, another fan of the show, he has lots of guns. So
Okay.
We'll be all set.
Awesome. That's cool, man. When are you going to do that? Do you know yet?
Not sure.
No?
I think it's just a matter of just the barriers are pretty low right now. We have just finding like which place we want to go. So
awesome.
I'm excited about getting back into that.
That's cool.
Getting into that.
That should be awesome.
But yeah, man. So yeah, I say we get an update from you in a month and make this a regular thing.
Sounds good.
Conversation
like
going.
That, man. Yeah, absolutely.
At least so I can guilt you into training for a race.
Yeah. Need the guilt. No, it would be good.
Yeah.
I'd love to check in, and we'll have to see if it's possible to record from like all the way across, If nothing else,
we can make it happen.
Yeah, I think we can make it happen.
You edit out those delays.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's make that shit
Sounds
happen.
good,
so you fly out to New York in a couple of days, and probably by the time this gets released, you might even be back in Estonia.
Yeah, I'm flying to New York tomorrow, and then on Monday I'll be back in Estonia.
Awesome.
Crazy. But
dude, good to catch up, man.
Yeah, good to catch up, brother.
Well, all I have to say is make sure that you drink water.
Meditate.
Kill bodies.
Yo.